Hello and welcome back to the bakery. I'm your host, Zach Warlock, and joining me today is my good friend and co-caster for the evening, Mr. Tiny Turtle. Turtle, what's up, man?
Hello.
We
Yes.
we got a game tonight. We got up to 3 games tonight. It's gonna be a fun match. Gang Spank is going up against the Moist Chalupas, our 2 of our 4 upper bracket teams. We can speak from personal experience, Turtle. These teams are tough. They are no
Yeah.
joke.
Yes, especially since one of them is one of the teams that actually was part of the contributors to us not being undefeated anymore.
True. Gang Spank handed it to us right at the end of the Super Week. We were dang near undefeated. The only team that we lost to was the first place undefeated team, Camp Autumn. And even that game was, in my opinion, a game we should have won. But you know, we've talked about that plenty. So in my head canon, we won that game. So really, we were undefeated until going up against Gang Spank. And yeah, they ran us over. I don't think
These
we
guys,
had a single winning lane.
these guys definitely ran our pockets that game. Those games, it was not fun.
It was tough. And the Moist Chalupas, they are no joke either. I remember that was a pretty close game. As always, Momo was an absolute terror on the map. He picked up a couple early kills. I believe he was playing Diana against us. And yeah, you get a single kill to Momo, and it already sounds scary. You get 3 or 4, and your heart starts beating. It's not a fun match to go down on.
Give
But
them 2 more, and you don't want to be in the same room as them.
very, very true. But yeah, let's look over at our at the bracket for now while we're loading up. They're doing draft off site, so we're waiting on that a little bit. But if we look over at the lower bracket, we watched the results of last weekend's matches. So Neon Guard, our team Meow, went up against Tilted Tater Tots, and unfortunately, Tilted Tater Tots did fall, meaning Neon Guard was able to move on into the round 2 of the lower bracket playoffs. Fire it up on the top side of lower brackets, and we had JDS, Jax's Daycare Service, going up against Nexussy, and I believe it was a forfeit, and so Nexussy ended up getting the victory on that one as well. Which leads the next match that will be shown tomorrow of Nexussy versus Neon Guard. So that'll be exciting. The winner of that match will then be going up against our resident Les Alphas de G-Town, which will be next weekend. So that'll be some exciting matches as we move forward. Definitely some scary teams that we've had to place here for a little bit. And then after we finish out that last round 3 of lower brackets, we then move up into the upper bracket, which is what we're showcasing here today. We have Gang Spank versus Moist Chalupas down here on the bottom 3 and 4 slot. And then we have Camp Autumn versus Puffy Poro in the 1-2 slot. Now, me and Turtle, we know the results of that match as we've already played it. We played it, we recorded it, and we're going to try to play it back at some point on stream. I unfortunately don't think we'll be able to play it today. It's hard for me to get some casters who are not actively in the match, and so that'll be a little tough. But don't worry, we will have it showcased at some point in the future, so you guys stay tuned for that for sure. But yeah, plenty of fun content in the meantime as well. What are your thoughts on Gang Spank versus Moist Chalupas? Just initial thoughts, Turtle.
I'm semi-expecting one lane in particular to be a little bit of a leaky faucet for Moist Chalupas. And that one mostly being towards the top half of the map. It might not even be top lane. It might just be a jungle difference, sadly. So depending on what characters are like picked out, like if Momo does go for something that has to be farming until like level 5 or 6, Gang Spank might have a field day in those first 2 levels, and that's not gonna be fun to come back from.
Yeah, I think we have a few players on these teams that are like kind of swinging above their weight class, and those are the ones that I really want to look out for. So like one that I look off the top of my head is Tyrene. He's listed as a silver player, and I believe on the sheet as well he's listed as a silver player. But having played with and against him personally, I can tell you he definitely plays higher than a silver. He's currently silver 1, so it's not going to be too surprising if he pops us up way up into gold. But even then, I would argue he might even play as high as a plat sometimes. And like he's got some very strong fundamentals. He does not give up lane very easily, and that is going to be very important. because he's going up against Baziggs, one of the best ADCs that we have here in the Discord. Very, very scary. And Hitsugaya on support is a really good at setting plays up. So definitely going to need to power it out. I believe Tyrene in the past against scary ADCs like that has played things like Twitch and just tried to kind of either cheese some kills or go for some mid-game roams. I want to hear you say Momo Mumu 5 times.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
That's funny.
That kind of tickles the bone a little. Ooh. That was a pretty quick draft.
Oh yeah, and we're winding right in. So let's pan over really quick. Let's see what these teams are cooking up. So right out the gate, we get the Silas ban. I feel like when I don't know if I would initially go for the Silas ban. The Kane ban makes perfect sense. Momo is I wouldn't say he's a one trick, but he is definitely very well known for his Kane. Now the Hui ban, that's what I expected to see. That's something that I was more akin to. Like, I believe that Pius Piper in the past has absolutely just torn it up on Hui. I believe one of our feature matches, maybe against Neon Guard, or JDS, it was one or the other. But they absolutely tore it up on Hui. It was very, very scary. The severing bolts were especially damaging, because just when you thought you'd get away, you'd see a blue orb come out and a severing bolt fly down from the sky to smite you.
I just dislike Quay as a champion.
I think Wei has an amazing kit that's it's very versatile, and it's something that I enjoy about a champion is when they have not just a unique way of playing, but they have tools in their kit rather than just a very linear play style. When I say that, and Brand is one of my favorite champions to play, so hypocrite I am, but
The thing that I personally don't like about Hui is that he has the rise issue, where the thing that kind of gates him is one champion knowledge, which is fine, right? The more you play a champion, the better you should be at it. You should have more impact in games. But his other main limiter is his mana, and the second he gets 1 to 2 mana items, hell, sometimes just a tier is enough to make it feel like you're not able to do much against him anymore, and it's just that's a 400 gold purchase where he stacked it for like 4 minutes. Now you can't really do much. It's very painful to play against.
Well,
Playing it is probably super fun though.
Yeah, well, and you have your QW as well. Or sorry, your no, not QW. WE. Wait.
Yep. For mana
WE.
refund.
The empowered auto attacks. Man, it shows you how many combo spells that way has. But bans aside, we have a whole front half of draft that we haven't talked about. Momo's Mumu is definitely the first pick. And I like the Senna pick coming out from Gankspank as well. Senna is extremely strong right now. And so she's been a very huge meta threat both in pro play and in solo queue. So love that as a solid slam on the first half. And something that I'm liking on the back half of draft, also from Gankspank, is the Vladimir pick. Maybe you can speak more into this, but I've seen Grasp Vladimir just tearing it up in solo queue recently. I'm guessing because the extra health just starts to scale with his pool, and his sustain just becomes unstoppable.
It's a combo where anything that's melee just isn't able to punish the Vladimir. The Grasp of the Undying is able to stack his HP pool to be huge, and also gives him a lot of ability power. And then he actually maxes a different ability where he maxes W versus Q for sustain and wave clear, and more on target abilities during fights, because leveling up that ability does reduce its cooldown. So in a 1v1 scenario against a melee character, you just cry. It doesn't matter who you play. You just cry. You can't kill that thing. That thing eventually outscales you, and it's just rough all around.
Yeah,
I've even seen it played mid lane a couple of times to decent success against ranged champions that historically were used to oppress Vladimirs.
Yeah, it looks like it will actually be a mid lane pick, because I believe that Jogath is going to go up in the top lane.
Against a melee AP tank, which by the way I'm not a huge fan of right now, because the blue team does have a lot of AP damage on it. If the set isn't able to punish the Cho'Gath a whole lot, it's going to be a little bit rough and it's going to be a little bit rough to maintain damage come the mid game once like 1 or 2 tank items are bought on that Zac. He's going to be able to engage without really much care, even if he messes up his E.
Yeah. Now, unless, now hear me out here. What if it's a spicy, not just champ swap, but a full lane swap from our players? Because I believe that Cho'Gath going into a Galio is going to be way more difficult than a Vladimir. I have seen Cho'Gath mid before. It's not completely unviable.
Um,
And it could also be just a general counter to the Zeri, because Zeri was picked in the back half of draft for sure. So
yeah, I have heard certain players in the Discord complain about being silenced as Zeri and being very, very sad about it. Not gonna name no names. But regarding that matchup of the Galio versus Cho'Gath, realistically speaking, the second Cho'Gath builds a little bit of HP, Galio is gonna run out of mana. It's two rough matchups for blue side. I can't really speak too much to the bottom lane, just because Seraphine's pretty strong, and Zeri is also pretty strong, although that's usually paired with a Lulu, not a Seraphine. I'm not sure how they're gonna fare into the poke lane of Varus and Senna.
yeah, I feel like Zeri should be fine here. Seraphine should be able to just stall her through the laning phase. I don't think that they just win lane without an overextension or jungle help or something. I think Varus has just too much poke to really get into Zeri's range, and Senna has sustain. So even if they go in, try to take a little extended trade and then back out, Senna just heals Varus up just the same way Seraphine does. So I don't see well, I guess you could just do a full all in, but that seems very risky. You're banking on the fact that you can dodge that Varus Q, because if you don't, I think you just lose the first few levels.
Yeah, that's how I feel it kind of goes. I think their best bet might actually be an early skirmish, like levels 1 and 2. But even then, the Senna's able to. I feel like the Senna should be able to outdamage a Seraphine in an early skirmish, so they might just be playing on the back foot from like the get go, just based off of like champions and picks and just the matchups that they have going on right now. In my opinion, this is like pretty red side favorite, just off of like possible itemization and team comp.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I was gonna play one of these two drafts, I definitely think the red side has the stronger draft. The one thing that Moisture Lupus has going for them on the blue side is the Wombo. I think that's the one thing they have. So you
They
get not just a person caught out of place, but a whole team caught out of place, and I think it quickly snowballs on them.
Yeah, that does become a grape popping situation very quickly, actually. But that's gonna depend entirely on red side overstepping their bounds, which as players, league players do tend to do pretty frequently. Even like the top echelon of players do find themselves getting caught out periodically, so it's not impossible. Do you think they're gonna go for a level 1 fight?
Yeah, they're gearing up for it. They're definitely staying grouped up. Well, a little bit. Maybe they're anticipating an invade from the enemy team. I don't see a Mumu wanting to start Q like that. Not as a jungler.
Yeah.
So
Well, honestly, considering the Zac is gonna be more than likely power farming into power ganking back into power farming, it might be needed just to be able to keep up with the pressure it's gonna be able to pull out. Though maybe not. If Mumble can trust his laners to play a little bit on the back foot, let the mini waves push to them, be a little bit ungankable even for Zac, right? Because Zac's gank potential is kind of limited at level 1 because his E gets a longer range as more ranks are put into it and whatnot. So they might be able to skirt by in the early game.
yeah, we seem to be dang near AFK. All right, there we go. I was like, we are really holding out this one bush. Like,
This,
I was like,
this
surely we have to go to
sometimes
lane at some point.
the defense of the Alamo, you stay until your last tear is shed. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, it's an Airy. It's an Airy Vladimir. It's not the Grasp of the Undying tag.
oh, okay. Well, I guess in the mid lane that probably makes more sense. I feel like in mid you'd. Well, I don't know if Airy is the right move though. Wouldn't you probably want Phase Rush?
I would definitely want Phase Rush, especially against a comp that kind of wants to catch you out. Being able to pull and Phase Rush away is pretty useful.
Yeah, I feel like the Phase Rush, especially dodging something like Galio Taunt, is just a little too important. But maybe Pius is really looking at getting some early harass, maybe trying to pick up a solo kill, I'm guessing. Pious Piper has definitely been one of the stronger members of his team, so maybe feels like he has to win. I think his teammates are strong enough that he doesn't have to win lane. So I don't want to just put theories out there that may or may not be true, but I just don't see any other real reason to take Summonary other than like you're attempting to hard win lane rather than just if you win, you win, and if you farm it out, you farm it out.
It might just be them being unaware of the stuff that Vladimir players have been doing.
Yeah, well, Momo is looking up to gank. Momo's Mumu's coming in. Vaz is getting stunned out. Immediate cleanse comes out as the Seraphine is not able to land the snare. They're going to be able to kite it out a little bit and proc the fleet. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a little bit of a trade goes on as Hitsugaya backs out and lets Pius get a little bit of farm. And it looks like we have a special guest to join in. Let me go draft him really quick. What's up, man? Oh, he's muted.
You'd love to see it.
Oh, I'm muted. I apologize.
There he is.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Thrandomir? Welcome back to the casting booth.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Glad to be back. Sorry, last minute. Kind of just hopping on the computer and saw a few messages, so glad I was able to get here in time.
Yeah, no, you're actually just in time for first blood. That we didn't get to cast as Justin came in flying in from the jungle, but he did manage to pick up a kill going over to Gangspank. And looks like they're not done quite yet. Tyreen looking for the snare. Barrier comes out from Baziggs, and Vaz is super low. Heal as well, and that's going to be a kill over to Tyreen on the Senna. Momo Mumu going up in the top lane, but it's not going to be able to get much on that tank Cho'Gath. He backs away up to the tower.
It's actually a pretty sweet move on Cho'Gath's part. I mean, that double knockup, being able to land that double knockup right there just saved his life.
Oh, yeah.
He did not deserve to live there, but yeah.
Didn't even have to flash. I think that's a huge deal for that gank.
Oh,
success. Yeah. You get a death on the bot side of the map, and you don't even burn flash on the top side. You're still down like 2 waves of CS. Yeah, not a good lane state to be in. Oh, but wrap around. Momo's not done. There's the flash.
There's the flash.
But he had it for the second go around, and he gets to live, wasting more of a Mumu's time, you know? So, honestly worth it, 100%.
Yeah, not even willing to back off, too. He doesn't even have a ward in the bush. He actually is just willing to let this wraparound come for a third time. He said, I'm calling Momo's bluff. Momo is not wrapping around 3 times in a row.
Oh, God.
And even if he does, I'll just knock him up and outplay him again.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, Turtle, if you're playing this lane right now and you're nutmeg on set, what are your thoughts right now? Are you just handshaking the fact that you're gonna be farming for a while?
Honestly, that had to have been a lane that you win at level 1. You have to like bush camp. You can't afford to give Cho'Gath any leeway in terms of breathing for laning phase. Because the second you do, you end up in this situation where his passive just heals him up. And even though Set has that health regeneration... Oh, fight in the mid lane.
Oh, flash for flash. It's a little too late. Pious Piper trying to react instead of proact. He does end up getting his life for it.
Yeah.
And another fight's going to break out as Momo's going in. Galio's coming flying in from the mid lane. 2 people are too low as Senna's down, and Zac passive is popped. Momo's going down on Vaz, and Vaz gets cut down. Meanwhile, on the other side, Baziggs is going to be able to pick up a double kill, and that is a great fight for the Moist Chalupas.
And then just the random Cho'Gath kill at top.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. What the heck?
Yeah.
Crashes, gets a solo kill, and shoves the wave on her tower.
What an absolutely huge ultimate from Galio, by the way. Like, good look on that from, I forgot his other name, but I don't want to say that. Hitsugaya? I don't even know how you say it.
Hitsugaya, yeah. No, that was like, and that was a result of that mid lane trade either, too. Because when he got the flash for flash and Pius was dead, Pius burned his TP going to the mid tower, which is fair. There's no way he could TP to that dragon pit this early in the game. But it just does go to show that, you know, one little snowball goes a long way when it's rolling downhill.
100%. Yeah, he gets that kill, gets a little bit ahead of the Vlad, but now gets that triple assists, putting him way ahead of the Vlad. You know, he's a little bit behind in CS, but I think it makes up for it with the joining the team fight with his ult right there.
Yeah, and Gangspank is going to try to rotate some of their pressure up. They said, well, we lost the bottom side of the map. That's A-okay. We're going to rotate up to the top side with our support. We're going to secure these grubs so we at least get something out of it.
Very good tempo play on their part.
Yeah.
So what lane are we expecting to be the most overpowering lane, or do we feel like this is like an honestly even match on all lanes on both sides?
Pre-game, I mentioned that this is going to be almost entirely on Momo's ability to impact these lanes during the laning phase pre-level 6, as we're kind of coming to the end of that.
Right.
It's kind of proven to be a little bit on the true part, because top side is down CS, mid lane is down CS. Bot is actually ahead now because of that double kill, right? But
Right.
I was expecting some leakage to happen in the top half of the map.
Yeah, Cho'Gath's a tough one, kind of like what you had mentioned. I mean, it's
My goodness, we're getting a dive under the tower. Justin's going down, and so is Momo. 1 for 1, though, but Vlad's going to be happy about that trade. He'll take the kill.
Very. Especially when the Galio's out of mana like this, you can just bully him. Obviously, you don't want to be taking tower shots, but...
I thought he was going to take one more.
Yeah, Pius is really playing on a knife's edge right now. He's just going for Qs under the tower. Oh, I thought he's the guy who was going in on that. I actually think he could have killed with the electrocute up.
Yeah, honestly, I would have. If I was in the
think I'm like a
Galio's shoes, I
second
would have. I'd probably die for it, but I would have
Yeah,
gone
no
in.
mana, but you have an empowered auto and an electrocute proc. I think that you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I respect it. You're 2-0-3. There ain't no reason to go inch yourself for a couple extra 100 gold, you know?
Very true.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I will say, when I was looking at the scoreboard, it felt like blue team was quite in the lead. But now I'm looking at the gold, and then I'm looking at the CS, and red team's hanging in there. They're losing some of these fights, but at least they're keeping true with their CS and staying in the game that way.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job at using the little bit of pressure and turning it into a lot. You know, it goes from like, oh, I'm going to win a small trade in lane, and then they're going to take it from, now I'm going to stand in front of your caster minions and make sure that you don't even get to look at them. And Pius is just, oh my gosh, yeah, he is not having fun in this lane. Now, he does have sustain, so that damage isn't always going to stick, but I feel like he definitely should be having a grass proc every once in a while here. This area is not working out like he wants it to.
Something that might be worth noting here is that this game might be a shopkeeper difference, because both teams have a decent amount of magic damage, right? You have 3 magic damage dealers, and then red side has the Varus, who does a little bit of magic damage with his W as execute damage. If somebody rushes an Abyssal Mask, they will not only be tanky, but be helping those 3 to 4 members of their team be doing an extra 10 to 20% more damage, depending on how much magic resist is built during this game. So that might be one of the things that these tanky people should be opting to go for, instead of, like, say, a Leandris, like someone like a Mumu, or the Galio instead of Protobelt, swapping in an Abyssal Mask. But
Right.
things like that will happen.
That is some clean chain CC that we had.
I was
coming
going to
out.
say, I don't think I saw him move once.
Taunt into Q stun into ult stun into death screen.
It's
The ultimate CC.
How depressing. You hate to see it, honestly.
Yeah, meanwhile,
You
top
love
lane,
and hate to see it.
yeah. Meanwhile, top lane, at least your Cho'Gath's picking up a lot for it. He's already a out trading set. He's burning flashes. The tower is dang near gone. I'm pretty sure the only reason it's still alive is because it's denying minions.
Also, full item Heartsteel versus Bammy Cinder and Ruby. That is not a situation you want to be in.
But yeah.
All right, hey, so I got a question. This for like overall like season stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I put out into the chat the trophies and the medals.
Yeah.
So MVP, obviously one of those trophies. Who do you think right now, currently with the games that have been shown? Oh, I'll wait.
Yeah, Crashes is unfortunately getting caught out with Momo. The man needs to drop a ward. He has been sitting on his 2 wards for the longest time. And I know he's a raid boss, but a raid boss can still fall.
Yeah, especially when a tower's hitting you 6 times.
But yeah, MVP. I think it's a little hard because a lot of these teams are built fairly well-rounded. And I don't want to go with the cheaper answer of necessarily just saying, hey, MVP goes to our Grandmaster player who's very obviously carrying his low elo team. Oh my gosh, the solo kill. Bziggs is just going to dash in, ult, take him down. Barrier comes out, but it's just a cautionary tale. Well, he did flash too. I guess there was a little bit of an engage with that, but
He did flash preemptively for the Verisar. The second he saw that animation go off, he instantly flashed it aside. He said, I am not chancing this. This has to be a solo bolo.
Yeah, and I mean, good on him. I truly don't know if he would have lived had Varus landed that. You know, the passive proc on the Varus ult's pretty deadly.
The double passive proc, yes. Especially if he goes with an E instead of a Q first to negate any healing that Zeri could do with Fleet Footwork and the Doran's Blade, it would definitely be hard to win that 1v1. Even though he does have the static shift, it's not quite a 1v1ing item like the components for Blade of the Ruined King are.
Right, exactly.
That is painful.
I'm pretty sure Cho'Gath could probably just walk up to the turret and just pop it.
Oh, I'm guarantee the only reason that tower is still alive is because he's denying minions. But yeah, good engage from Galio as Amuma's going to follow it up with his ultimate as well. Bandage toss is going to lead into a kill on Tyreen. Meanwhile, Pious Piper is trying to run down the enemy team, and Justin's helping him out on the Zac. Bziggs is picking up a return kill as Vaz is falling as well. And meanwhile, in the top lane, we're seeing a dive as the tower goes down. Nutmeg is not winning this trade right now. The W is going to try to come out. Crashes is just too tanky. You're going to have to run, and he's too late. Chomp, chomp. Crashes gets a nom-nom on the set.
I want to point out this fight that happened in the bot lane where it seemed like it was totally going in Blue's favor for half a second, and then Red Team just started spawning up out of nowhere. You had the Zac passive hitting. The Vladimir was in his pool the entire time, and then was able to get a two for two out of it, I think. Maybe even a 2-for-1.
Yeah, and we're not done yet. TP into taunt. Justin's down right as the dragon's coming up. That's going to give it over to the Moist Chalupas. I don't believe that Gangstank's going to be able to fight this one now.
I forgot that was their names. That's awesome.
Yeah, Moist Chalupas is on the blue side, Gangspank on the right. Although
wonderful
it's funny,
names coming out from both teams.
The Gangspank was actually built off of their original top laner, who was a Gangspank or a Gangplank one trick. He's their diamond player, Gangplank one trick, and he never got to play Gangplank because it always got banned. And
wow.
Well, you know, if you saw
with a name like Gangspank, yeah,
you see the high elo player coming up. Yeah, I'd ban it too.
Right. Assassin Cho'Gath hiding in the bush.
Crashes is going forward, and so is Pious Piper getting another kill. We're gonna see a Q come out just in time. Not quite. Mitsugaya is able to get the kill. He's running away. That is on fire. Harmoniously is gonna be able to land a snare for him to help get him out, as Crashes isn't gonna be able to move forward anymore. They'll rotate over to get a little bit of damage on the mid tower, but it's probably not going to fall.
A freaking amazing outplay by that Galio, by the way. There's no way he should have lived that, and he absolutely does.
Yeah, that is cracked. This Lichbane Galio, 5-1-5. I will say something that's also shocking to me is just how strong Pious Piper is, despite what I feel like is not being that far ahead. Like, I mean, He wasn't just getting ran down in lane, but he definitely was not winning. But for whatever reason, every time we go into one of these fights, he's getting at least a kill, and I feel like he's doing a lot more damage with it.
Yeah, which you know, I think for some of the hard stuck people out there, which goes to show that just because you're behind doesn't mean you can't have an impact on a team fight.
Very true. Yeah, this Galio is out for blood. He's taking 1v1s, and he's winning.
It's that Lichbane, man. It gives him that confidence, you know? Yep. Shoot.
Oh, he's on Vaz now, too. His Hippo's going over the wall. The Ziggs is going to be able to go over Tribe. Justin's tanking it out. But the charm comes out. Encore from Seraphine's going to be able to pull him right back in. 1-for-1 as Hitsugaya does go down. Surprisingly, with no shutdown gold. I guess because the team is down 3K.
Right. Again, another one of those like deceitful showings, right? I think blue team's totally ahead and just absolutely is running it down, and then you look at the gold, and red team is still 3,000 ahead of blue team.
Honestly, from the way this is being played out, the second the red team decides let's group as 5 boys, this might be kind of over. I don't think Ziggs could actually overmount that 3,000 death expect on his own. He does have a little bit of help from the Galio, but the problem is that Galio's kind of like, mid to short range. He's not going to be able to necessarily pump out consistent DPS in these team fights. He's more of a, I'm going to blow my cooldowns and try to walk away for a little bit, wait for them again, try to recast.
Yeah. Well, and I think trying to look at a little bit of like where this gold is coming from. The CS is the one thing I really want to point out. And the towers too. But the CS especially. In the top lane and in the mid lane, there are insane CS gaps. We're talking multiple waves. Top lane is dang near double.
Yo, just lost so Tony's out.
Oh,
Assassin
no,
Show got
you
that
hate
again
to
from
see
downtown.
it.
Look at him go.
Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, he's
Not
getting eaten
the-
for sure. Nom nom.
Ah,
Not the max grit W true damage hit, barely tickling the tank.
Pius
Oh,
is trying to
well.
get a return kill on Itsugaya, but the taunt is too strong. That is a 2-on-1, and they get another kill on the top side just to trade it out against this Cho'Gath.
I'm just saying, if he had Grass to the Undying, he would have probably tanked that. He'd probably still die, but he'd probably be alive for like 2-3 seconds longer.
right.
You know, I think it has been a funny way the game has crumbled so far. Every time we see a kill on one side of the map, you can look at the mini-map and see another kill somewhere else. Harmoniously
Right.
baiting them in. Encore comes out as Zach charmed under the tower. Crashes is taunted as well as he's taking up shots. It's not too relevant as he's a very big and bulky boy. Momo's going to be able to go in with the bandage toss, and he's staying in on the back line. Vaz is locked up now as well. Crash is having to flash away. Vaz is trying to kite out Momo. Momo's running away a little bit too. Good E coming out from the Ziggs on the Zeri. He's going to be able to pick out the kill on Momo, though. Good job as a kill shut down for Vaz and a shutdown to Nutmeg. Ziggs flashes forward. He picks up the double kill on Vags as well. Meanwhile, Pius Piper's too strong. Ziggs is trying to kite it out, but the Q is going to finish him off. Sucked out.
I don't know if
Crazy.
that was PG-13.
I mean, what would you say it is?
No, that was perfect. You know, I wouldn't have said it any
A
other way. That was great.
retrieval? His blood is
You
being
got
retrieved.
sucked off right there, bro. That was great.
I don't know. I feel like the Zach having bought that haunting guys might have been a little bit of a mistake. Because what they really need on this team is like a true blue engage tank, not necessarily more damage. You got plenty of damage from the bot lane and your mid lane. You don't need a fourth damage.
And whether
dealer.
you intended it to or not, your top lane. This Cho'Gath is putting
Yeah,
out a
true.
lot of damage in these fights for a pan who's built full tank. He's actually got a
Very
sheen now.
true.
That's kind of cracked.
Yeah, Trinity Force, baby. It's coming in clutch. No, it's going to be a nice
Trinity Force.
I feel like I've seen
Just because
Trinity
you said
Force.
that, I truly hope he builds that. I really do.
It's not as bad as it sounds. I've play tested it a little bit. Feels great. R.I.P. Vaz.
Yep.
Yeah, Vaz is not having a great game this one.
If that does not like epitomize the ADC experience, I don't know what does. Man's just walking around trying to get his chickens for some farm. Deleted. Just like this tower.
And this is definitely the top lane experience. You get a lead in the
Yeah.
top lane, and you just ignore the enemy laner while you take his tower from underneath him, and then solo kill him afterwards.
It do be that way, although the collapse might prove a little bit too much. Yep.
Oh, yeah, not going to be able to get low enough for the chomp. Itsugaya going 1v2 against Pius and Tyrene, but he is under tower, so he's got a little bit of defense behind him, and his team is going to back him up. Oh, he's going forward. Tyrene having a flash away. Momo was definitely ready to follow it up.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Hitsugaya normally a support player? I want to say that's accurate.
I have not actually looked at the sheet.
Let me pull up the thing.
Yeah, I want to say he's normally a support player, which kind of, I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty great that he's playing Galio. You know, I think of Galio as more of a supportive type mid lane anyway. And so I think it kind of works out. He's kind of playing true to his strengths, even no matter which way or which lane he's going into.
All right, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. I got a thing in the Twitch chat that asked me to make it also.
Oh, shit.
So for the rest of the game, I'm going to be talking with an accent.
Not like this.
And Tyrene is unfortunately falling down as Justin getting chomped out by the Encore. He's getting ran down, but he's going to be able to walk away with some blobs. TP comes in from the top side. Harmoniously falls down to the knockup from Cho'Gath. Meanwhile, Baziggs is taking it on 1 and 2. Pius Piper gets fallen down by Hitsugaya's Galio. And forward goes forward. Momo is having another bondage toss. Zeri gets another kill. 10, 3, and 5 for this nightmare of Baziggs as they rotate over to the Baron. You guys do not have to talk in an Australian accent, by the way. That is purely for me.
You do it so well. I don't even know if I would want to try and follow that up, you know?
That is a 3v1
man.
on the Cho'Gath.
Oh my
So
god! The one
the guy is about to fall.
Can he
That's a
pull it
double
off?
kill. Shutdown goes over to the Cho'Gath. This Momo is barely walking out.
Raid boss for sure. Oh my god.
That's a big girl.
Big Coral.
Girl.
No way, dude.
How much HP is this man at now?
Real quick, are you able to toggle over to see the gold difference? I want to see this Cho'Gath's gold.
So right now, Cho'Gath is at a staggering 6,200 final health, max health, and a 12,000 gold in his overall pocket. He's got almost 2,300 right now when he recalls.
Jesus, he's almost got 2,000 more than the highest on the other team, which is Ziggs, which is supposed to be the hard carry at this point. I mean, yeah, this is going to be this as perfectly stated. That's a big Goral.
There's an apex predator. Watch as he marches his way down into enemy territory.
Very big shrimp.
The wild Cho'Gath quickly approaches. Snared up by the enemy Seraphine, he marches forward unfazed, healed up by his Sinner in the background. He's tanking up the tower, ready to proc an amazing grass proc. No.
Just half the tower's health just done.
You can do it again in 20 seconds. Absolutely insanity.
And the tower has fallen. Cho'Gath walks forward, moving on into knocking on the inhib. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Hitsugaya and Pious Piper taking a short trade. Nothing too big is going to come out of this unless one runs out of the tower.
Again. Like, this might be a little bit of a macro misplay on, what is it? Forget the team names. Not Moist Chalupas.
Gankspank.
Gangspank. It might be a little bit of a macro misplay on them because they could very easily have the Vladimir just knocking on that.
Oh my word, Nutmeg with an amazing showstopper. Taking that max health Cho'Gath straight into the back line. Vaz and Tyrene get bursted out in one shot. Meanwhile, Baziggs is going to clean up the shutdown goals on Cho'Gath as they march their way down the mid lane. I would not be surprised if they get a Kawa and a Dragon off that one.
Yeah, I don't think the Vladimir is going to be able to put up enough pressure against the Galio on his own to be able to actually take anything meaningful. Not with a tower present.
True. And he is finally picking up some magic pen, though, so that's going to be useful. Able to take down this Abyssal Mask and the Hollow Radiance coming out from both Set and Galio.
I'm surprised there isn't an Abyssal Mask on the red team. Gangspank.
I feel like Cho'Gath would actually really love that.
He would. Now, his E1 maxed out does something like 6 or 7% maximum health HP what's called maximum health magic damage.
Certainly you're not building it as a first item, but I think as like a third item. By that point, you've got enough raw stats that the magic pen starts to become a lot more relevant.
Your Vladimir would also just absolutely love you because you're already in the middle of everything. So enhancing his damage amp from his R is just going to be chef's kiss.
Honestly, I think Zek could have also bought it instead of the Leandries. Mainly
Most
because
definitely.
you're buying Leandry specifically to do extra damage to these tanks. But if you magic pin all of them at the exact same time, your Vladimir's doing percentage health damage. That effectively is your Shrink Tank Shredder. Now, of course, you got Varus on the Bork as well. He's got his AP scaling as well, so even if he's not building AP, he's still doing extra damage on cubes and A's.
Very peculiar decision to constantly push mid lane here when you have an open inhibitor bot.
Yeah, well, they finally moved Crashes up into the top side of the map, and they got Nutmeg on set, trying to match him, but I just don't know if he has the ability. You don't really have to kill Cho'Gath, you just have to keep his wave out from under the tower. We'll see if he can actually do that.
I don't believe so.
And for those of you guys watching, if you look at the chat, the poll is up of who you think will win. Go ahead and cast your votes whenever you get a second.
Well, it's true. Are we doing this for game 1 or for the whole match? I think that's actually...
Oh, it's best of 3, huh?
This is a best of 3 now that we're in the finals. Or the playoffs.
Right. So this will be just for this match.
For this match or for the game?
Oh, wait. Just for this particular game that we're watching, and then I'll do another one next game for the best of 3.
Okay. Yeah, this is game 1, so we got plenty more league to be played. Yep, just gonna ignore the enemy set as we take another tower. 700 gold in the pocket of Crashes once again. Yeah, definitely cast your vote. We want to know... I think for me personally, I expect this to go to a game 3. I think both teams are very, very close, and even when we see huge KDA discrepancies, we see the gold graph is extremely close. Hitsugai is unfortunately going to fall, but we have a TP coming out from the top side as Crashes is ready to go in. Momo's going on, but he doesn't really get much of an ult off as Baziggs is in the backlines there. He's trying to run him down, but there's GA on Zac. His passive is going to be high. Vaz has got damage even higher. He's getting a triple kill. He might even be getting a quadra. Not quite as both Cho'Gath and Zac are going to take out the last two. We're denying the Penta from their own ADC. But they're going to be able to take that and march it straight down the mid lane. They're getting an inhib and they might even back off a Baron. I don't think they can end quite yet, but we might be proven wrong.
I think they might be able to.
I guess they can end if Cho'Gath's just going to ignore that. That was for them.
Oh, no, then.
Yeah. I do want to say, like, honestly, bravo to the red team, because I don't know if you saw that teleport, but the second that team fight started happening, both players that TP'd in at the exact same time. It was obviously called through the team chat and everything, but I just like superb timing for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was really good.
It was literally Avengers Assemble. There was 3 red team members, and then in blink of an eye, all 5 members were there.
Yeah, this Cho'Gath with the most gold and the most damage. 36k. 7 Put it in perspective, we had an 11-5 Zeri at 27k, and a fairly fed Galio, 16 assists, is nothing to laugh at. With Lich Bane, the whole deal, 31k. The tank Cho'Gath, no damage items at all. I mean, I guess you could argue Ironsporn Gauntlet is a little bit of damage, but like, let's be honest.
I'd say the Tunneler is more damage than the Iron Iceborn man.
15 damage from Tunneler.
I would have loved to have seen that Tunneler become a Overlord's Bloodmail and just see a Cho'Gath running around with 300 AD.
That would be correct. But yeah, Varus definitely had some good positioning in that last fight. I mean, obviously his tanks were just being absolute monsters in the front line, but because he had all that CC and the distractions available, he was literally just able to wail for free. It was so fun.
Just an itemization here thing, right? For the set versus Cho'Gath, I would have highly recommended a Blade of the Ruin King against a Cho'Gath like that. Because that percentage health damage goes a long way if you stack it with your Q as well. No matter how tanky that Cho'Gath gets, you will always be able to dent his health bar. And I'd honestly would suggest doing like a ability max swap from W over to Q specifically just to be able to deal with that monstrosity so that you don't bleed out in towers wherever it goes.
Well, I hope whoever voted for the Moist Chalupas is still willing to back them up, because they're going to need y'all's support coming into Game 2 here. I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I kind of enjoy going to Game 3. It feels exciting, and it's nice knowing that our teams are very, very close when it comes to skill. And you really only see that when you get to go to a Game 3 or a Game 5. But even if it doesn't, I mean, that first game definitely was close. There was definitely a Titan of a Cho'Gath, but I never really felt like one team was just completely out of the game at any point.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, and again, it's just it's really cool just to watch the top of the screen with all the information given. Right, one team had clearly more kills than the other, but the other team just holding up in gold just based off of objectives, CS, everything else, keeping in line with it, and then finally bringing in the win. I think at one point it was like 28-15 or something like that, with a red team down on the kills.
Oh man, are they actually swapping sides? No.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Quick,
no.
start editing.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
That means I have to manually change my my overlay.
Oh shoot.
Ugh, I hate this.
Honestly, it might be worth just making 2 layouts and making one invisible.
All right,
Well,
I
I
will say
use
here
it
in
to-
about 30 seconds, there's going to be an ad on the stream, so they will not be able to hear what we say.
Oh, that's fine. Because if you're subscribed to twitch.tv/Team Rosemary, you're not going to worry about that.
All right, let's gift a sub. Let's see who gets it. All right, who got it?
Oh, my dumb self.
Let's see, Tiny Turtle.
Let's go.
Nice. What are the chances? What are actually the odds?
Game's rigged.
Totally rigged.
The game was rigged from the start.
Oh, crud. I can't.
I swear to God, that was random too. I swear that wasn't like on purpose.
Okay, I got to pull up the hex code again. I completely messed up, which I copied over one of the colors and then like wrote down the one that I copied manually rather than just Control C's, and I have to go back and
I will be right back.
Honestly, I'd like to see Momo pick a more aggressive jungler this time around. Something that can like skirmish well in the early game. That would be phenomenal for him to be able to keep his team kind of relevant in the earlier stages so that they're not bleeding out CS as hard as they did last game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mumu was definitely a very strong pick. Like, he was definitely getting into lanes, so I don't think he was just, like, power farming and, you know, letting whatever happens. But I do agree. I think there's a difference between being a playmaker for the team and being a carry for the team. And I do think he had a lot of great engages on fights. Like, we saw a lot of the 2-3-man ults on the Mumu. But maybe you can give that over to, like, your top laners. We take them off the set, put them on something like Ornn or, like, a Malphite or something maybe. And then you carry over the carry potential to yourself. So you pick up, like, a Kha'Zix or a Kayn if it's somehow not banned, you know, something like that.
Honestly, a Viego would actually go pretty decently as well because
Yeah.
Viego's skirmishing power is absolutely insane. He does have for a little bit of utility with his W, and then the stealing of utility from enemy champions that he's either assisted in killing or killed himself. It wouldn't leave you like high and dry, like say a Master Yi, where all he does is slap people with a stick and hope they die before he does.
True. Yeah. No, I think that would work. I don't know if I'm sure Momo has experience on just about every jungler, but I don't normally see him playing Viego. So, not sure if we'll see it come
Diana
out.
would have
but-
also been pretty okay. Her damage is kind of not terrible in the early game. Obviously, she doesn't want to farm to 6 so she can just start popping people, but her levels 1 and 3 are... Well, her level 1 is probably pretty bad, but hers level 3 onward is pretty good.
Yeah. I think Diana is like one of those deceptively strong champions, or like she doesn't feel like her kit would give her a lot of burst damage in the early game. Like, you know, obviously you give her a couple kills and she'll start snowballing, like getting assassin. But like just playing her against her like in Diana mid, I feel like there's so many times where I go in for like a short trade and she'll dash in and chunk me for over half my health, and I'm like, we're level 2. How is this possible?
Yep. Definitely just very front-loaded damage on her end, because her E, while it is a dash, it actually does do targeted damage, and it has a very low AP ratio on it, but base damage exists. And her W also does a little bit of chip damage. Her Q and her passive. She's got damage spread all over everywhere, actually.
Yeah, I think one thing that would be cool is Baziggs definitely was able to get an early lead, and I think he did a really good job at utilizing it in the mid to late game. I mean, we saw the Zeri just running through a lot of these fights, but maybe trying to get him snowballed a little bit earlier. So, like, if you start on the bottom side, maybe doing like a 3 camp into a bot gank, getting him ahead a little bit, going up through the top side of the map, and then maybe trying to get yourself ahead through a mid or a top gank. I think that would be my personal pathing decision, but I'm also not a jungler, so he should not be taking my advice.
Same, I can't really offer too much in terms of advice for jungle pathing, but based off of playstyles and whatnot, it definitely helps to have a little bit more agency in the early game when you know your lanes are not going to be performing as great as you would like them to. Not to bash on Nutmeg, but he is going up against a Diamond or an Emerald top laner, right? Emerald 1 is pretty close to Diamond 4, so.
Yeah. And with only 43 games, or 43 wins, that's 80 games played in ranked or something, he's definitely on his way to Diamond for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, red side does get that counter pick, right? Do you think they're going to opt for a counter in the top lane to try to kind of make it so that Nutmeg has an easier time laning against crashes, or do you think they're going to opt to pick something else, like maybe the mid laner last?
I think top lane is definitely where you want your counter pick to be. I think my question would actually be, does Nutmeg have a wide enough champ pool to where he can effectively make use of that counter pick? Because if you only play 2-3 champions, the counter pick can only take you so far. I know he plays Set, obviously. He does play some tanks. I've seen him play Ornn before. I've seen him play Skarner. So, like, I know he has the ability to just kind of wall out lane and try to deny the opponent some stuff. So, I believe he can make use of a counter pick. I just don't know if it's as simple as, oh, you're playing Aatrox, let me pick Garen, you know? It might be more of a, oh, you're playing Aatrox? I bet my skill matchup on Set is going to be able to handle that.
I don't know about that one. That one is actually a hard counter for Set. Set's just not able to breathe.
Oh, well, maybe Urgot?
Yeah, Urgot would. No, that's also a skill matchup between Aatrox and Urgot. Yeah, Aatrox is like, that's part of the reason why he's one of my blind picks, is because he doesn't necessarily have an absolutely unplayable, atrocious matchup, right? Even the lanes where he's supposed to be countered, like say the Fiora versus Aatrox matchup, you'd assume the Fiora just runs him down, but the second her parry is used up, it's kind of over for Fiora. She gets out damaged in the early game and then out healed in the like pre-mid game. Like when you have 1 to 2 items, you do out heal her, you do out damage her. Obviously in the late game where she builds more damage, has more resistances, she has more consistent healing, she's able to out DPS you because, you know, late game champ. But in terms of laning phase, it's not as terrible as people make it out to be. It's not like, say, Riven versus Garen, where the Garen's kit just kind of like out damages you, out CCs you with the silence, out utilities you with said silence again, and his W is just very much unplayable. You have to really mess up his Garen to get solo killed by a Riven.
Well, hopefully we don't see too many solo kills come out in this next game.
You're not showing.
Yes, I am. We are actively in draft right now.
I think he's talking about the draft low link.
Oh, I know what he's talking about, but I want him to come watch the Twitch stream. Are you seeing the draft right now?
Yeah. You need to swap it out on stream though.
What do you mean on stream?
On stream, it's still stuck on the. Oh wait, no, it is. No, it is showing draft.
Yeah.
The graphics working.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting that they opted to ban the Smolder instead of the Zeri that was keeping them in the game, but you know, I can see that. Yeah. Smolder is kind of annoying. He does scale super hard too.
Yeah, he's also blind pickable. You can throw him in ADC, mid lane, even top lane. So very flexible pick as well. I do think the Senna first pick is pretty strong. It's not a flex pick necessarily, but it's just a really strong meta pick, and obviously Tyreem very proficient on it. So definitely like that. The Karthus is something that I find interesting. We are going from what we were talking about of maybe we want a jungler that can carry us and put some pressure in the map, and we kind of went past the pressure on the map and just straight up to carry us. As Karthus is a very power farm carry in the mid to late game champion, and it got matched by Justin's Vi, who is going to wait.
What is?
Oh,
My ankles are snapped. What is going on?
Perfect time to come back.
Well, Thrandomir, maybe you can make some sense of what is happening on the red side, because Moist Chalupas has broken our ankles.
There's
Which
no
one's
way
Moist
that's
Chalupas?
Canadian
Right
That
side?
is, that is red side, yeah, on the right.
Nope, you got me. That's interesting.
Okay, well, the Cho'Gath ban I think is huge. We don't want crashes hitting round 2. And we got Pious Piper on Hui. That is one of his more comfort picks. He's definitely a Titan on it, so definitely a scary pickup for him. I don't know what... Is this a Karthus bot lane?
It could be.
So I
Paired with a
understand.
Soraka? I don't know if I agree with that one. The Nasus! The blind pick Nasus!
Nasus is either going mid or top.
So I understand the Mumu ban. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the Vlad ban. Now we were talking about how he was obviously keeping up in fights and stuff like that, but I feel like he fell behind pretty good early on, enough to where like he wasn't the biggest threat in the field. You know what I mean? Not ban worthy, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. I'm guessing it's because he has the ability to dodge Karthus ult.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
It's really the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Wait. Okay.
It is, in fact, a Nasus mid.
Which means it has to be a Karthus bot.
Or is it Karthus jungle Kindred bot?
No.
We do have Baziggs on enemy 3 slot, so that would be their bot laner. So yeah, it is looking like it's going to be a Karthus bot lane.
Interesting. With a Soraka too. Maybe they just took the Soraka so that the enemy team doesn't try to counter the Karthus ult
Very true.
with the Soraka, but why not just ban it, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Karthus would really appreciate some lockdown more than sustain, so something like a Nautilus probably.
Right. No, definitely.
You know, it kind of plays similarly to like a Ziggs. You're already going to be playing pretty safe in the lane naturally, so the necessity to like be healed out and like enchanted isn't very high. But being able to lock somebody down means you get to dump all of your mage damage one-shot combo into somebody.
It might be a wombo, but like not a I'm gonna knock you out kind of combo, but a now you have to kill us twice kind of combo. Because a Kindred pressing R into a Sriracha pressing R, that's kind of a fat heal,
Sriracha.
dude. That is fat.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. Yeah.
And this team scales like abhorrently strongly as well. You have ornaments coming out in the late game. You have Karthus, who naturally scales well. Nasus, who naturally scales well with his stacks. Kindred, who naturally scales well with stacks. Like, they are actually putting a timer on Gangspank that if you don't win this game by 20 minutes, we probably start to just kill you for free.
That is fair, because last game that was something that was happening to the Cho'Gath, even though he had a huge lead, right? He had like double sets gold. He did forget about wards. The man was definitely going in, cosplaying as Lee Sin, said, I have absolutely no care in this world. I am ignorant. I'm walking in and taking that tower and walking back out. It's up to you to trip me.
Well, and he's on Gwen now, so he has a much more carry potential than the Cho'Gath, which is more terrifying because Cho'Gath wasn't meant to be the carry in the first place. But that does mean that he's a lot squishier. So if somebody comes running into your lane, you better have Ghost up.
There is actually something funky that happens with Gwen into tanks. She actually does not win in the early game. She gets out damaged.
I want to say
almost
level
every tank.
5 is when she really starts to turn it. Personally, as from what I've seen,
It is
feels
actually
like
item dependent.
1 to 4 she does terrible, and then 5 for some reason it starts to be noticeable that she's doing better.
It's almost entirely based on how long it takes her to build her Riftmaker. Because then she has amplified healing, she has amplified damage, and then the true damage from her Q, she lands the sweet spot, helps her chew through the tanks, and then that's how she more or less comes into her own when she's fighting against tanks. Before that, I've learned she struggles a little bit. Mostly because I've been solo killed by an Ornn several times. Trying to make that work in the early game. I tried doing her
Right.
Q, doing her E, trying to get like Bush and denying vision. Just Ornn breathing fire on you and getting that auto attack off is just enough to make it so that you're at half health and he's just barely touched. It's depressing.
Yeah, Ornn is definitely one of those frustrating characters that you just I hate seeing Ornns because of their just natural ability to stay in lane constantly, never go back, never push it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then honestly, like his base damages are just feel so high. Like no matter who you play, I feel like you
Like
just
that,
kind of lose early against
the
Ornn.
brittle passive is what's brutal because that is percent health damage. Yet
Right.
again, he has two instances of that in his kit: the brittle passive, where he auto attacks you, right, knocks you up,
Right.
and his W. His W itself just does percentage health damage because screw you.
Oh,
Pause. That's what I did in this game.
well, and looks like the chat like spawned all in one go, so we can see a little bit of a chat log as to why they paused. Sorry, our top laner, top fell. Just you crap your
What does
pants.
that even mean?
Peed quick, ready. I'm literally here. Do it anyways.
Unhinged chat is the best kind of chat.
Well, I'm glad everyone's having fun.
Regarding matchups, right? I do think the Nasus was a pretty good answer to the Hui, because like I mentioned in the pre of last game, right? Hui's limiting factor is his mana, and Nasus's whole shtick is I'm going to lifesteal and sustain through laning phase. Good luck.
Yeah, phase rush on Hui is also very interesting. You don't normally see that.
It might. I don't know if this is giving him a little bit too much credit, but it might be Nasus dependent because you know how crippling that Wither can be, and most Nasuses have started maxing that second. Some actually max it first, depending on how insane they are, right?
I definitely think the Emax is the way to go. You kind of play it like ARAM. Because you need some kind of poke in the early game to go against these mages. And then, yeah, the Wither max second, I think, is actually smart. It feels so weird to max Q last on a Nasus. But, like, in order to solo kill these mages, you literally just pop Ghost, run at them with Wither, and just Q them 3-4 times, and they just die. Like, once you're level 6, level 7, it's actually kind of just a free kill. But, speaking to that, though, Hitsugaya did not take Ghost. And did not take Fleet.
Yeah, that might be leaning a little bit too much on the AP Nasus side. Did they start E or did they start Q?
Hey, look, this is from the guy that did the Lichbane rush on Galio. I believe in everything that he does at this point.
Fair.
It's true. Who am I to question?
Right. Man was 6-1 like 12 minutes in. Like I have no doubt about this man's ability to play.
There it is.
Ooh.
Yep, the brittle and then the oh lord, that is gonna be rough for crashes. Already down to a quarter health at level 1, getting ran at by Nutmeg. Not like this. Complete reversal of last match.
And Nutmeg's just getting grass procs too, so he's looking for more trades. He's like, yes, please.
He needs to hit level 2 is what he needs to do. He needs to not run
does need
after
to hit
this
level
until he
2.
hits level 2. What is he doing?
Not like this.
And he flashes
Nutmeg
away.
He's able to.
Oh, it didn't show us first blood?
Nope.
That's crazy.
It was probably flash for flash auto attack though.
Yeah.
That's
That is
for
my
sure.
bad. As
Well,
an observer, I could have panned up there.
Honestly, if he
she actually
had
doesn't
that
have
level
flash. She
2,
used Ghost though to catch back up to him, but Ornn
that's
did flash away. It looks like.
even sadder.
Yeah,
When
if
might
he hit
actually have
level
a
2
face
there, that
control.
goes so different.
Oh no, he hits level 2. That shit's 100% confirmed, killed, first
Right.
blood. Yeah, that's just very, very much an oversight on Nutmeg's part.
100%, man.
Yeah, you just got a little excited. I mean, had an amazing level 1 trade, was denying CS, and then just thought, oh, I got this. The moment that level 2 hit, should have been, yeah, I agree with y'all, should have just been, hey, back off for half a second, or turn focus from Gwen onto the minions so that you can get your second level, and then go right back to your attacks.
Honestly, something that's hilariously underrated in League of Legends is just winning a health trade. you don't have to kill your opponent, right? Because
Right,
people are
right.
gonna greed. They're gonna be like, oh, I have like a third of my health. I can totally stay in lane, kind of like Hitsugai is doing right now, and they're gonna get killed for it. Or flash,
Oh,
good flash,
nice
very good flash.
flash.
Um, right. But them being at that low of an HP makes it so that a lot of the CS that they would normally be able to contest you for, they physically cannot contest you for it. All they're doing
Right.
is gaining XP.
Yeah, it's about
And the
putting the
second you
fear in
base,
the heart of your enemy. You know, it's like I don't have to kill you. I can just get you low, and then I can farm at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like he honestly could have just done that entire time.
especially with a champion like Ornn, whose passive is literally, I don't have to go shop.
Right, exactly.
And Tyrene picks up a kill harmoniously. Good snare over the wall there.
Yeah.
Followed it up with the E coming out from Zeri. The what is it? I forget what the name of the ability is. Man, we are seeing flashes all over the map. We've seen
Yeah,
flash in
last
top
game.
lane. We've seen flash in mid lane from Nasus. Flash on Soraka
I
from
think Tristan's dead.
the fight. Now we've seen flash on Justin to engage the Q.
Yeah,
Flash
Justin's
on
dead.
Momo's Kindred to follow up.
Nutmeg's
Flash on
coming
Pious
over.
Piper
Justin's
to
dead.
get out. Nutmeg collapses. Justin's not gonna. He doesn't have anywhere to go, and he is gonna fall.
Oh. Oh.
But yeah.
The Sriracha gank?
Literally
And
every single person in this entire game, the only person that still has flash are the two bot laners, which arguably are probably the two people you would think to burn flash first.
oh my God,
Is
the
immune!
freaking immune, dude.
Yeah.
What a character, man. That is crazy. I cannot believe she's alive.
That's
Honestly,
not
the
okay.
thing that I find to be crazy is that Gwen got the solo bolo, had level lead, and was still put in that situation against the Ornn.
Right.
That's a testament to how crappy Gwen can be against early game tanks. The second she gets that Riftmaker, though, which looks like it's going to be a second item purchase, which might not want to do that.
Yeah, I don't really
Um,
play Gwen. What's the first item she's going for?
Historically, it's been Nashor's Tooth because it gives her
Oh,
ability
right.
power, it gives her attack speed, on-hit damage on her autos
hit.
to amplify her passive, right? It's really good. But
Right.
in the current situation, you need the sustain from the Riftmaker. And since you max your E second, you don't really need that much more attack speed to feel really good on the character. You just need like 2 points in your E and you're chilling, right? Because
Damn.
you generally don't want to do a super duper extended trade.
Right.
You kind of want to go stack up your Q, dash in, get an auto, do your Q, then walk back out, do it again when your E is off cooldown, when your Q is back off cooldown. You're more of a mid-range mage or a short-range mage in the early game.
That Wither's
you're
coming
able to
out on
get
Pious
over
Piper.
XP.
He's trying to proc the phase rush, but he doesn't get enough combo out. Momo takes up a lot of damage, and harmoniously is flying up from the bot lane with that passive. She's going to be able to heal him up and disengage the rest of that fight. Justin wanting to go in, but he's not going to be able to get a scene.
I just keep cracking up every time the camera pans to top lane, and I just see Gwen's health just always low, and Ornn's always like full health. It's just crazy.
The Ziggs is trying to make use of the fact that Baz burned that dash, but he's breaking ankles. He's got happy feet. He's pinned up against the wall, though.
Does he get out of this?
That was very well calculated on Zig's part.
Well,
Toggling the E.
I personally think it's a little greedy.
Oh.
If he had flashed that wall there, I think he would have been fine. Like, yes, Karthus has ultimate, but if you do it before he lands the second or third Q, then you're fine.
He has ultimate, but he also has barrier. Zeri has barrier, so even if he had ultimate, I mean, I think he misplayed that for sure.
Yeah, just a little greedy. But
Yeah.
good punish on
The
Bazix.
story
He
of
saw
League
the
of Legends
he saw the
players.
Zeri dash forward, and he immediately said, "Oh, I got this." Man, Moist Chalupas are trying to take control of these grubs, but I don't think they're going to be able to get more than one. They do have the 4 people up top side. Gwen has to match this wave in the top side, so they can continue to contest if they choose to. Hitsugaya is not going to be the one to go up forward, though, as Pious Piper's making sure that he's zoned off. Yeah, they're just
They
going
might
back
have
off.
they might have respected blue team a little bit too much. I keep forgetting these team names. It's Moist Chalupas and what team is this?
And Moist Chalupa is
Gangspank.
red team?
Yes,
Yeah.
they swapped sides from last game.
Right. Moist Chalupa red team, Gangspank on blue team. And last game, Gangspank won. Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, just making sure. Okay.
Gangspank did win last game, and they Moist Chalupas opted to switch sides after their loss,
Interesting.
which tells me that they were really banking on this counter pick. which I think kind of works. They ended up putting the counter pick on the Ornn top, which would have won lane if it was played a little more optimally.
Honestly, the way it's going right now, even though Nutmeg isn't proccing all of his passive procs that he should be, he is still coming out even or ahead in these fights.
Yeah, Conqueror is stacked and the needlework comes out. It's not going to be enough to kill Nutmeg, but it is going to put him far enough under tower where he has to think about basing. He's choosing to go forward. Yeah, Grass is just clearing the wave right in front of his face. Nutmeg's playing on a fine line here. I know he wants another grass proc and he wants to farm this wave, but I think Crashes just ignores him and takes the tower plate.
I don't think Gwen ever kills him under tower, though. Nice.
Yeah. Piper had flash, but with the collapse and the wither, it's just too strong.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to get out of that. He tries to burn down Nasus, but he's just not low enough for the Searing Bolt to really finish anybody off.
Yeah. I want to highlight something that's probably going unseen at the moment, but with the every time we look at mid lane, Nasus getting kind of bullied down a little bit, but of course with the range from Wei and all that, it's easy to bully with Wei, but he's keeping up at CS. He's doing really well. The Nasus at CSing. I wonder if he's still doing pretty good on his stacks too.
Well, definitely
he may be maxing his E, but I wonder if his Q's actually getting pretty pumped up because he's doing so well with CS. You hate to see it, the Ornn ult missing because of the freaking circle.
Harmoniously stepping a little too far forward. I don't think she knows Justin's still here. And yep, the silence is coming out. Momo's trying to reach back around from this dragon, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. She gets caught out. Cease and desist. She is out of the game. Ornn, meanwhile, on the top side is going to be able to get a dive in on Crashes and get a plate off for it, too. Karth Assault comes out. Pious Piper's going to take a little damage, but Vaz is the one who's getting bursted down. The barrier comes out to keep him alive, though.
I don't think Nasus is stacking a whole lot.
You don't think so? Well, yeah, the cooldown on his Q is going to be a lot slower because he's not maxing it, but like I said, he's still doing pretty great on CS. Second most on his team, and he's been bullied out quite a bit, at least from what I've been seeing. So
honestly, as long as he prioritizes cannon minions, his stackage is not that terrible. Because the cannon minions do give you 12.
Oh, that Kindred is able to secure the dragon before Justin gets over the wall. So Momo does get it, but harmoniously is going to fall. As Tyreen should be able to clean this up. Yeah, Izugai is going to be able to get a trade in on Tyreen, but I don't know if he's going to get much after that. Yeah, Q on Tyreen. He just gets a free stack for it. Pious Piper's trying to fear him away. Good fear. Combo with the Q. Passive is going to be enough for Justin to clean it up with the E.
What a fear, man. That was so well played by Pious.
Honestly, target focus here is what was the thing that sealed Hitsugai's fate here, because he did end up using a Q onto the Hui, who was already very low on mana. If he had focused all of his damage onto the Vi, that actually would have been a 1v3. He would have been able to kill her.
Crashes takes a plate in Nutmeg's phase and just walks away casually. The Abyssal Mask as the first item, though, is also a little bit interesting. I don't think that it's really good as a first item. Crashes might be biting off a little bit too much. The needlework comes out. Cease and Assist is already back up for Justin as he goes in on Momo. Kindred is going to fall harmoniously. Is super low behind it as the Senna old Dawning Shadow comes out from the back. Justin is going to fall from it, though, despite the added shield. Meanwhile, Nutmeg is going in for the knockup on Pious Piper. QW, the Molten Core, is actually somehow going to take out the Soraka. Was there a Searing Bolt I didn't see?
No, I don't think so. I think she may have stepped the animation for the what's it called? The thing that he puts on the ground, the fissure or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was still there, but I think it had disappeared. But it was like coated. It was still there. I think that's what hit her.
She got Z-axis on that ramp and then killed by the Blackfire torch. That's crazy.
Right. What a perfect placement on that freaking fissure though from Wei. That was so beautiful. The other team literally could not follow up at all because they were just getting bolted by that thing.
Nutmeg's playing. It's actually giving me heart issues how close Nutmeg decides to stay until death. And yeah, he just gets dove. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pious Piper gets traded out as well as Crashes might die to this card.
Gwen is immune?
No, Gwen's immune.
That's such a broken
mechanically outplayed.
Now that's the true counter pick right there. They said, you banned Vladimir? I got a different idea.
Wild, man. Absolutely wild.
No, in regards to the Abyssal Mask, first item being an odd choice, I think it is a perfectly fine choice. The only thing that could be done differently is the amount of greed Nutmeg is showing. Now, I'm guilty of this shit too, because I love staying for waves, especially when it's a big wave coming into my tower. I try my best to catch all of it, but against certain players, you just gotta respect the fact that they were beating you up before you had the tower, and they might still beat you up under the tower.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, Abyssal Mask just raw stat-wise, I don't think it's strong enough to be a first item pick. Maybe something like a Henic Rookern, if you're looking for some AP threats, or even just Hollow Radiance if you just want some passive damage in lane. Because Gwen is going to spend a lot of time in your face, you might as well get a little bit of damage for it.
No, I mean, the Abyssal Mask does give you damage, right, because of the MR shred that it provides, and all of Orin's kit is actually magic damage minus his auto attacks, so it's not a terrible buy. It's just he has to play it a little bit better than he has been in order to actually get all of his damage off. Like, in an ideal Orin combo, he gets 3 of his brittle passives off. That's like something like 36% of your max health as magic damage.
Justin's going forward. He's got the cease and desist. Pious Piper's got the QW, though, to speed him up. Justin's going to be able to pick up a kill on the Orm, putting him to 2 and 4. Pius gets to shove another wave. Meanwhile, Momo just being an absolute unit monster down the bot side. He is 7, 2, and 3. And he is diving under towers left and right, trying to poke out and kill certain players. It's just terrifying. Like, Baziggs is taking out solo kills on the Karthus, most likely through the exhaust, which is pretty scary too. But, like, I don't know. I'm watching Momo as a Kindred just fly under towers, and I'm like, surely he gets, like, stunned and killed, right? Nah, they just run away in terror. Like, he actually just gets away with murder.
That's because he's a murderer. He's killed 7 of them.
He is a serial killer. You know, but even like we were talking about last game, despite the KDA looking like it's be in favor of Moist Chalupas, the gold lead is actually in favor of Gangspank, and I think a lot of that is down for towers as well. Top tower offers up a lot, and I know they got a lot of the Grubs objective earlier as well. Good amount of farm coming across as well. Gwen's up like 4 or 5 waves. Bot lane's up in NCS, but not by enough to really say that it's a big gap. In fact, I'm actually kind of curious. Yeah, so Gwen has a pretty huge lead, about 2,000 gold. We have a surprisingly only about 1,000 gold lead on Kindred to Vi. I would have expected that to be a lot higher.
Yeah, no doubt. Ooh,
Hitsugaya is about to get knocked out. Karthus ult comes forward, but the Kindred is going to try to keep everybody alive. He's trying to bounce around a little bit as the Ornn goes wide. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Crashes and Baziggs are taking a solo kill as Crashes goes down, and so does Baziggs. Nutmeg is trying to get in, but he's getting kited out. Vaz going over the wall. Snares from Senna is going to make sure that nothing happens to her team. Vi lands out the kill, and they're going to rotate over to the Dragon. That is going to be the first Dragon. For
second.
First Dragon for Gangspank.
Oh.
Second Dragon
Yeah.
of the game. Yeah.
Should have finished my thought faster.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Honestly, that Henic Rookern second item might be starting to bite Hitsugaya in the butt a little bit. So now he's dealing with a lot of AD threats versus the Hui, who was all AP.
Meanwhile, Pius is getting ran down by Baziggs. He doesn't care. This Karthus has actually just done nothing but run at people with pure ignorance, and he gets away with it.
You love to see it. I have a bigger number, therefore perish.
But yeah, freaking Baziggs on this Karthus is actually just printing money on the other side of the map. He is doing nothing but inhaling CS. Anybody that comes to stop him just gets ran down and killed. Like,
if you go 1 for 1, the Karthus still wins.
Yeah,
like, and I think it kind of works out perfectly. You know, I like seeing Momo on a character like a Mumu, but he's obviously in personal opinion, or maybe not. I think objectively the best player on the team, right? So you need someone like that to be on things like Kindred, like Graves, like just Kane, even things that can carry the game and run away with it. You know.
Yeah, and moving Nutmeg to something like a tank, I don't necessarily like talking smack to our lower elo players, but it is a truth of the matter is when you're looking at where do we funnel our gold and where do we put on a carry champion, it's usually better to put it on your higher elo players. They generally have better mechanics, they have better macro decisions, they have better positioning in team fights, so on and so forth.
Right.
Obviously not an objective truth, but more often than not, tends to be the case. And I think it's proving very effective for them because even though they're technically down 2,500, 3,000 gold, as a team, they seem far more in a position to win. And like we were talking about in the Champ Select, they are definitely set to scale in the late game. They're not even really supposed to be winning right now. So
Right.
the fact that we're 19 minutes in and we already have 2 items completely finished on this Kindred and we're looking at a third, same thing with our Karthus having 2 items, this is a little too far ahead. And we're going to see a little bit of trade coming out, but nothing's really going to come of it. The Wither is just going to get met with a phase rush proc as he runs away.
Yeah, it's just a little back and forth, A little bit of King of the Hill. Who owns the bush? No, I think you're absolutely right, though. I mean, it's less than 20 minutes, and we got 2 full items on the Kindred. And just like what I was saying, putting Momo on something that can run away with the game is definitely the best bet, I think, for Moist Chalupas.
Yeah, I'm waiting for we're gonna be a little ways away from this, but if Nutmeg can stay in these side lanes and pick up some more XP, we can see these ornament items coming out as well. I'd like to see some ornament items by like 27, 26 minutes.
Ornament? Is that what they're called? Or is that just like...
That's what I've always called them. I don't know if that is
That
the official
is
name.
awesome. That's such a great pun, actually. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's start.
Yep, yeah, he gets run down. And with the Rift Herald procced as well, they're going to be able to push down what looks to be a top tower. Yeah, 4 people are rotating up. Momo and Harmoniously are going to try to protect it, but it's not going to be enough. Season Assist comes out, and this poor Soraka gets bursted down. Crashes, takes a kill, and they might be looking to end here. Smite comes out from Momo. He's not letting that thing get on another tower, but the enemy team is not able to recall. Hitsugaya is keeping Pious Piper from going back.
Surely
Momo's
not,
try to keep his
right?
team alive. Karthus is
Surely
still alive.
not.
Karthus is going to make sure that this team can't end.
Oh, and he's got his ult right. Oh,
Maz is going down for sure.
No way.
That was one hell of a Hail Mary, and it was absolutely blocked.
Oh my god. Hey, you know what? Props to freaking Gangspank. I mean, they saw the opportunity. It was there. They had it, but Bazig's just coming in, big balling, dude.
Yo, that's going to be a 3-item Karthus very, very soon. Opting to go for the Morella Nomicon, or at the very least, the anti-heal portion of it instead of a death cap. You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Senna does heal a lot, so does Gwen. Does that item still offer pen?
Which one?
Morella Nomicon. Does it still give a magic pen?
I
I
don't think so.
Has it ever given Magic Pen?
I think there was a point where it gave magic pen.
Oh.
Like when it got reworked into a Grievous Wounds item.
Well, speaking of penetration, Gwen just running down poor Nasus. That MR is irrelevant when it comes to a 4v1, and they're going to be able to rotate over onto this Dragon as well and pick up the second one for their team. And they might be positioning over to Baron as well if they can get another pick along the way.
Hey, call me crazy, but is this the build you're supposed to do when you play mid Nasus? I have never played it, so I genuinely am curious.
I think it is.
I have no idea what mid Nasus builds. I feel like it's different every game.
Yeah.
Because from what I've seen, right, and from what I've personally played, it's the only AP thing about AP Nasus that you do is the Doran's Ring and the E-Max. Hell, I don't even max my E completely. I just go 3 points, and that's enough to wave clear. That's all I need. Then I just start putting points into Wither. Sometimes I put a second point into Q and then max out Wither.
Now, I've gone against Nasus who did Comet first, which I think you're supposed to do if you want to do like the E-Maxing thing. But he also built, I think it was a Blackfire. I think it was Blackfire first. And then he was literally just chunking me down with ease. I'm gonna wait because there's a big team fight happening.
Yeah. Nutmeg was able to unleash the ultimate as well to start things off as Justin gets brought down. Momo is moving forward. Karthus was able to put out a lot of damage. Crashes, Tyreen, and Pius are all super, super low. As Hitsugaya is going to be able to clean up Crashes. Those two are recalling. They are not going to be able to defend anything. This looks like Moist Chalupas is going to be able to move forward, take a turret for sure. Maybe even open up an inhib.
Karthus catching the top wave, accelerating his build even further with what are essentially free super minions, cannon minions within the super minions.
Yeah, Hitsugaya is going to try to press forward on this tower. I think they need to back off. They might actually be able to take a Baron off this if they choose to. Be a little risky, but well, it's actually a pretty even game. There's no need to twin flip stuff like that.
Not especially when you have a late game scaling comp that's already starting to tilt the scales in their favor for these team fights. I don't think it's not needed. I don't think it's needed.
Just steal a red buff and get out.
Their best bet is probably to wait for the Kindred ultimate to come back up and then look to do another skirmish, another fight.
Yeah, I mean, Nutmeg had a really good engage to start that fight off as Justin just got bursted out before he could do anything. So hopefully they can find something similar. His ult is about to be back up. I imagine it's got maybe 10 seconds left. Maybe in a little less. We're just going to see a little vision control from our two supports.
Supportal combat!
You know, I remember watching an LCS in like Season 3, Season 4, and the crowd absolutely went wild for vision control in the like first levels. I don't know if you guys ever watched pro play back then.
Yeah, dude, that was back when you had to like buy the green wards. You remember that?
Yeah, but like if someone came forward and like, you know, dropped a ward in the enemy jungle and like got away with it, like everyone was just, oh my gosh!
Oh god!
Ah! Yeah, like just
Right.
screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, Hitsugaya is getting dove. Justin goes forward as the needlework comes out. Yeah, Crash is going to be able to take that kill very easily, and they're going to be able to rotate over and grab the bot turret with it. Pushing forward, Karthus is going to try to defend it. He's got pretty strong damage to clear out some waves, so I think they'll be fine with defending this turret for now. Yep.
This guy does have his 3-item core, and no one has built any magic resistance.
True. No, no night, no banshees, no, you know, maw, no nothing. I figured at least we'd see some MR boots. You know, you got Nasus with her to resist. You have Karthus damage. You have Karthus slow. You have well, I guess you can't tenacity through knock up on Ornn, but I don't know.
It's just not as easily itemized on their team. The only person that has really easy access to it is the Vi, and I do think she would prefer to have a Sterex over a Maw.
Yeah, I know. I think the Sterex is just too useful for her. The extra health in the fights is actually crucial. Because she's also having to deal with this Fed Kindred too, so you can't just go full on MR. As Crashes is going forward, Needlework goes in on the Soraka. She gets poked out. Zhonya's is going to try to keep him alive for a little bit as Vaz tries to bail him out. It's not going to be quite enough as the fear from Pious Piper is going to bail his team out. They're going to be able to walk away with the 1-for-1. Dragon is about to spawn, and Baron is up. Be curious to see which teams try to go for what. Pious Piper is trying to butt Nutmeg a little bit. The ult comes out. Blizzigs is in the back line as he is super low. He flashes away. Nutmeg can't. Oh, he does get the knockup, but barely. Karthus ult comes out as Vaz is going to be low. Oh, my God.
That is a bomb.
Tyreen and Pious Piper just got chunked from dang near full health to about half. Vaz, even with barrier, was never surviving that.
I'd like to see some penetration come out onto the Karthus build just to see
A
how
Shadow
much
Flame would
damage you can
probably
pump
just be your
out.
best bet. More at raw AP damage, you still get a little pen with it.
And then the damage amp when they're low.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Please. He's even got heal cut. He's not even going to let Senna try to heal out his teammates.
Oof,
Man
I
chose
don't
violence.
think he wins
Yeah.
that at all.
Nasus
that
seems
is
to think that he's scaled out already, but unfortunately, not against a 10-7 Gwen.
No,
Yeah,
not
no
one who's
doubt.
about to complete 4 items, one of which is probably going to be heal cut.
Yeah.
The Morello.
We are seeing some more scaling coming out from the Moist Chalupas, though, as we have seen our first ornament. It is about 28 minutes, so it's a little late, but still better late than never. Ooh, Momo's running away as Baziggs is going to get shut down by Crashes. He gets the return kill, but that is a lot of gold going into Gwen's pocket. Nutmeg goes forward, and Tyreen, it falls to the passive. He can't see the charge. Nutmeg is getting run down, but it's not going to be quite enough. Vi has the Vault Breaker, and it is going to go over to Vaz. Vi wants to keep going. Harmoniously is caught out. She's going to die as well. Momo is getting away, but they are easily going to be able to rotate backwards and get this Baron off of that. They have the Zeri damage. They have the Smite from Vi. They have Pious Piper to peel. This should be a free Baron.
I don't know what else to say. All I can say is Karthus, man. Crazy.
Yep.
Right before his passive times out, is able to get one last Q onto the Senna and just pop her real quick. That was just absolutely insane.
Cease and assist on a Momo. He pops the ult as well. Kindred is ignoring death. Vaz is in the back, and Karthus spawns with the ultimate. Vaz is going down. Pious Piper's not too far behind him. Hitsugaya is about to fall as well as the Sterix procs. He's trying to run away, but Crashes does way too much damage. He's already finished out 3.5 items. And they're going right back onto the Baron, despite the jungler being down.
Surely they don't do this with Karthus alive.
There's
no.
no way. I wouldn't be taking this Baron.
Not at all.
Yeah.
After Karthus just 1v4'd us in the base earlier, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and we see the blue orb from Baziggs spot them out, so they know they're doing it now. They have already rotated over as they are going to start backing away, rightfully so.
Neither jungle is alive, so definitely they don't want to take it over at this point. So
well, and you've already lost your shutdown gold on Karthus, so like if I'm Baziggs, I'm running into that Baron pit immediately. I will trade my life so that I can get a triple kill. Oh, and the Rabadons has been buffed up by the ornament as well.
Oh man!
So now we're seeing multiple items come out as Nutmeg is going to be exclusively looking to be in the side lanes to get more XP, to get more items for his teammates.
I think the next item should probably be Kindred's.
Yeah, probably the black.
You can't really
Cleaver?
choose, can you?
I think you can.
You don't choose which item. I think it's the first item in the slot, right? Like in sequential order.
Oh,
in
is
this
it?
case,
So like whatever they
Yeah,
put first.
like the first upgradable item in like so if he chooses Karthus, right, and his Rabadons was in the back of his slot and his Zonias was the first in the slot, then it would upgrade the Zonias because it's the first item in the slot.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. I'm fairly certain that's how that goes.
I definitely don't play enough Orin to know, but I'd be curious to look it up. But yeah, I could see the Kraken Slayer being buffed up for the Kindred, or maybe even the Triforce on Nasus. It just depends on if Nasus is scaled up by the time we get the next item up.
Yeah.
honestly, I'd say go for the Kindred, just because it's a lot easier for Kindred to get her damage off as opposed to Nasus, you know, being melee with no dashes, no ghost.
True, I do think this no ghost on Hitsugaya is actually kind of trolling them right now. I don't think it's just game over or anything, but I've seen a lot of kills where I feel like Nasus could have gotten if he had just been able to stick to his opponent easier. Or just escape. There's been plenty of times he gets run down. Dragon is going to be up in less than a minute, and they do not want to give this over. Gangspank will end up getting Dragon Soul for it. Chemtech not the most dangerous soul to give over, but it is still a Dragon Soul nonetheless. As Crashes is going forward by himself, the Needlework comes out trying to pick out Harmoniously, but Momo pops it out. Harmoniously is barely alive. Dawning Shadow gonna get down. As Vaz goes over, he's going to dash in. Baziggs is super low as Pious Piper is going to be able to clean him out. There he goes. Double kill for Pious Piper. Meanwhile, Crashes is going to hit his own double kill as Karthus ult comes forward. Not going to be able to pick off any kills. That is an ace
Oh, that should
for
be game.
Gangspank.
That should be game, yep.
How unfortunate for the Moist Chalupas as they are very likely to lose their tower here. Justin's just going to try to tank it up. Minions are going to come by. Yeah, I think that's going to be game.
Yeah, the only one up that's going to be able to defend this is going to be the Soraka. Because remember that earlier push that they did take away one of their Nexus towers.
Right. Man.
It is. Very hard fought 2-0, I'd say.
Valiantly fought by both teams, but at the end of the day, you know, the better decision making wins, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
But Gangspank proving in our practice as well that they are a force to be reckoned with. And that's what we saw here on the Rift. I do think that Moist Chalupas had a very terrifying team coming in. This Karthus was an absolute monster. So I do think if they had played the team fight maybe a little bit different, I'd have to go back and watch the fight again to see. But I feel like if they had played that fight a little bit different, we could have seen an ace come out from the other way around. And that would have definitely been them marching down the mid lane. Still a very close game either way.
I was honestly betting on Moist Chalupas winning that second game, hoping that we would get a third game in, but that was a very good engage on blue team's side.
Yeah, no doubt.
Can't remember names to save my life. What do these people call?
Well, I guess we can try to do a quick interview with the winning team since the losers are not eliminated. Let me... Let's see. I just messaged Tyrene, so hopefully I can get a message back if who he's willing to send for his team. But those of you guys who are currently in chat, let me know. Who do you guys want to see us try to interview? We might be able to DM a player ourselves. If I can... Well, I already closed out the custom lobby. I guess that's kind of troll of me. I can't even go in my match history because it's... Oh, I could probably go in somebody else's match history. Oh, nope, custom. I can't pull up custom games from other people's match history. Well, you'll just have to use your memory because it was such an amazing game that you definitely memorized the stats.
You gotta have them stream it to you, or they have.
He said interview Tyrene.
Interview Tyrene. Well, we did just message him, so we'll see if he responds. I don't want to wait
I believe
too
Tyrene
long.
is Hitsugaya, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to wait too long because we do have another match that we're trying to do tonight, the VOD recorded one. So we'll give it a little bit of time. Looks like they're doing like a team meeting right now because they're all sitting in the same VC.
Oh, okay.
But
Turtle, you might have to take over that one. I'll side coast or side cast on that one.
So me and Turtle actually cannot cast this next match.
Oh,
we are
shoot.
in it.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
I do have another commentator who's gonna come in and help you out, Thrandomir. So don't worry, I didn't just leave you high and dry.
Okay, good. Because I gotta put the kiddos to bed here soon.
Oh well, are you able to put him to bed and come back? Is that
Well, yeah, I'll be coming back. I just
okay.
That's like a process, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, if you want to head out right now, we can do the interview and then we can take like a little 5-10 minute break, and then when you get back, we'll fire it up.
I would. It's a little early to put him to bed though. That's
okay.
It's only 7:30, so I'm gonna give it just a few more minutes and then.
Okay, we'll work it out. Because if I have another caster, I'm in the call. I have to be here to like run the stream, so like I can always cast certain fights. It's just hard for me to be like, wow, I can't. I wonder what the player was thinking there when I'm the player.
Right when you're the.
I wonder what the team was thinking when they called that dragon play. Well, we really thought we could have it.
Obviously, best player on the team, Zach Warlock, without a doubt.
He's an absolute goat. All right, looks like Tyrene's ready for the interview, so we'll drag him in here really quick.
Nice.
Tyrene, what's up, man?
How you doing?
We're doing great, man. How are you? Fresh off the 2-0.
Sick. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just recovering from COVID. Me and my 80 carry and mid laner were all sick, but we pulled it off.
Hey, we weren't able to notice. The gameplay was still phenomenal. Now, it was a pretty close game. I don't know if you guys felt the same way when playing it, but we are in both games. We're very concerned, not just for you guys, but in general. Like, man, this is all gonna come down to one big team fight for sure.
I mean, we weren't nervous. I think we were, at least on my end. I was on Senna. I'm a one trick now, essentially, ever since they buffed that champ. So the longer the game goes, the more items I get, the more healing. So I was relaxing. And on top of that, I got my all-star jungler to lean on. So no complaints on my end.
You didn't feel threatened by that Karthus? I watched that man hit R and half a health went to like everyone on the enemy team or y'all's team.
Well, a bit. I would say the moments I felt really threatened is when I forget that he's dead, and then, I go over the dead body. I'm like, oh, I'm actually dying.
I was just about to ask you if how you felt about your pathing right before you guys went on to Baron, and I see you get melted by 2 Karthus Qs just randomly out of the bush. I just saw your health go boop, one more Q, boop.
I felt like a goon, but I did it for the cause,
Yeah, he did it for the Vine, dude. It was great. It was perfect. We were
Exactly, for
commenting
the
on it. It
assist
was awesome.
gold, actually. I needed to reach out for that extra Q assist.
Well, I do have at least one official question. Maybe
Sure.
Turtle and Thrandomir have a few more to cook up. But what were your expectations coming into this game in general? Were you guys obviously you guys had a little bit of draft prep, but like were you anticipating that one specific player was going to be an issue? Did you guys have like a counter pick kind of in the pocket? Like what were your thoughts kind of going into this match as a whole?
We left majority of our big brain mastermind to our jungler, and he told me that, listen, this Momo guy is only good on Kane. We just ban everything else, or at least put a good enough bans on him, probably Kane and Lilia, and that's it. And we're good. And so we followed that plan. Game 1, he went a Mumu, and we are like, oh, he's more worried about our jungler's picks than him. So, I mean, I think we were focused on more so Momo in particular, and then at the same time, secretly actually, the Galio gave us some trouble game 1. Out of all the picks, funny enough.
Yeah, that Lichbane.
We talked about it. Don't worry.
And we were just like, oh man, he's doing a lot more damage than we thought. And our mid laner was like, hey, I heard about that W Max Vladimir. I think that's all I got. So what do you guys think? Like, okay, sure, we'll give it a shot. So that's what we rolled with. But I mean, at least from my perspective, bot side, it was just prioritize. If send us up, we'll first pick it, and then we'll just see from there.
For sure.
That's usually how we did our bot side draft.
Yeah. What game 2? Speaking of draft, was the draft that we saw recreated exactly how it was like when y'all did it on the LoL draft? Because our angles got broken.
Oh yes, we recreated everything.
Okay, so what were y'all thinking when that first half went through? Because we saw Karthus and then we saw the Kindred and immediately went, wait a second, what?
Yeah, we thought he was gonna be Karthus jungle actually, but it made a little more sense when we saw the Kindred because we kind of were expecting Momo to be on some carry, unless it was something completely right field where Hippo is going Kindred 80 carry, right?
Yeah.
But we kind of expected Karthus when we saw it with the Kindred. But I guess I'm gonna be honest, we were a little relieved actually because we noticed that when we do a scouting, Hippo's team were a big bot side team, and basically every single game coming into it, we were just like, I was telling my AD carry like, hey, we gotta buckle up a little because we might be camped, especially. Since they like to come bot.
Yeah, well, and I think we were talking about the same thing. Like, man, the Mumu was very strong. Like, he had a lot of good ults going off on like 2 or 3 people. But at the end of the day, we kind of expect Momo to be that like carry jungler. So we were talking about like his Kane that's he's obviously known for. I expected a Kha'Zix to come out. I don't remember the draft quite if y'all banned it or not, but I expected a Kha'Zix. I never really saw it. But it looked like they were just really aiming for this late game scaling, beast of a team comp on the second half. And they started getting there. I mean, that game lasted almost 30 minutes.
For sure. We didn't ban Kha'Zix. I remember that. I think we were just confident that if there was a Kha'Zix that we would just CC him in particular. And I think a big part of why we won our game is actually our top laner. He really put in the work in terms of putting a lot of pressure and damage. Especially that last fight. He was 1v5ing, and so all we had to do was follow him.
Yeah, crashes on that, even in the game 1 on that Cho'Gath, like he had the highest damage on the team by a country mile, like 10k up on any of the actual carries. He was ignoring people under the enemy tower while he took them with Demolish, which was dealing like over half the tower health. Like it was nutty. It really was.
For sure, and that's why we try to, I always make the joke in Loafland that my jungler never comes bot, but that's essentially why he never comes bot. He always focuses up top, outside of Grubs. But yeah, no, that's why we always give him last pick and try to focus up top side.
My question before Zach lets you go, what were the comms like earlier you guys made a push with that Rift Herald up top, and most of us probably weren't expecting you guys to take it all the way to the Nexus Towers. What was the call exactly?
You know, funny enough, we were surprised too when we like got the inhib. But then we were like, hey, let's try to end. So we tried to go for the end, but obviously you saw what happened. We gave the Carpus a quadra kill, so
Right.
it was.
But it ended up working out for you guys later, because in that last team fight, had you guys not been able to take, had you guys not had all those towers and things and structures down, who knows? Maybe they would have been able to respond in time. Who knows? But no, I think that was an absolutely wild play, and it almost worked out perfectly in you guys' favor. But Ziggs and his Karthus, man, that was just No, it was awesome to watch. It was awesome games to see.
For sure, and I do like to put out my 80 carries, waiting for the day he can bust up that GP. So, to all the remaining team, please don't ban it. He's still waiting for his chance to shine.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he gets through at some point. Not going to be against my team, but at some point.
Of course,
But
of course.
speaking of future matches, you guys are now set to go up against Camp Autumn, the currently undefeated team. Now, obviously, I don't expect you to spoil your drafts or anything, but what are y'all's thoughts going into that match? Is this another like bigger concern, or is it just kind of another match in the way like you did with the Moist Chalupas? This is your chance to talk smack.
I always, in my humble opinion, I always think their team is always going to be playing around their mid laner Satchel. Everyone just funnels that man, and they win. I don't know what to tell you, but on our end, we just gotta lock them down, and I think we'll be fine. Truth be told.
Well, hopefully Pius is able to pull out a Hui or something strong and go toe-to-toe up against Satchel. Definitely a force to be reckoned with, but the team is definitely able to bleed. We've seen plenty of games where they played and they dang near lost. They were 10k gold down, so I definitely believe you guys have the ability to take them out. Maybe we'll even see up to a game 3, something super close. Who knows?
For sure, for sure.
Well, Tyrion, before we let you go, is there anything you want to say to your teammates, the fans at home watching, anything in general before we take a quick break?
For sure. I like to thank my boy Justin, #1 fan out there. I know I may have had a few rough games, but I don't know. I wouldn't be here without him. That's all I would say. He pointed me the right direction. We went from bot lane. Now I'm here playing support center. So that's my shout out.
All right, well, shout out to Justin. All right, Tyrion.
Good stuff, Justin.
Well, we're going to let you go really quick. We're going to take a short couple-minute break, and then we're going to queue up our next match, Puffy Poro versus Camp Autumn. So stay tuned for that match as we pull it up here in just a few minutes. We'll see you guys here in a little bit.
All right, thank you, guys.
Take it easy, buddy. Woohoo.